In this video, I'm going to cover cell styles. As you already know, formatting means applying different formatting options like number, alignment, font, border, and fill to a cell. We often format cells in Excel worksheets manually. Manual formatting of cells is not the best practice. It is time-consuming and may not be consistent. Instead, you should apply the styles option, because styles save time and are consistent in its application. Style is a collection of formatting. We can choose options under each one of the formatting options and save it. Once saved, you can reapply formatting to other cells in any worksheet. However, we may not have to choose options and create styles, as Excel offers several inbuilt cell styles for everyday use. It is straightforward to use them, and they make the worksheet look professional. Let me explain this to you. Suppose the input cells are to be filled with a gray color. And suppose you have 5 input cells in your sheet. Then, you can apply these formats individually to all these cells. If you were to change the format, you would have to change for each one of the cells manually. By using Style to format the input cells, you don't have to change the format in each of the cells. All you need to do is change the style, and Excel automatically updates all input cells with the new style. Cell styles are located in the Home tab in the Style group. There are 5 style categories: Good, Bad, and Neutral, Data and Model, Title and Headings, Themed Cell Styles, and Number Format. In Excel, Normal Style is the default style of a cell. Every style has 6 properties, and they are Number Format, Alignment, Font, Border, Fill and Protection. To see the properties of normal styles, let me right-click on Normal Style and click on Modify. Now click on the Format button. You can see the Format Cells dialog box. You can see that there's no specific number format. Calibri is the font face with 11 size in black font. There's no border and no fill color, and the horizontal and vertical alignment are general and bottom, respectively. We can use spreadsheets for computation and to build models. It is essential to create spreadsheets that are easy to read and understand. We have to create visual differentiation for values and make them easy to locate. Inbuilt data and model style in Excel is useful in binding spreadsheet models. It helps us to create good-looking and understandable spreadsheets. In this sheet, we have a model to compute the quotation value for a contract. We will format this sheet using styles to produce the final output similar to this sheet. We're going to apply heading styles. I will select cell A1, and then I will go to Cell Styles and pick heading 1. For cell B3 and C3, we're going to repeat the process. Select cells, click on Cell Styles drop-down, and then select heading 3. Now, we're going to apply the input style. What we want to do is we want to highlight all the cells that have input values to the model. Let me select B4 to B6, click on Cell Styles drop-down, and then select Input. I will repeat the same process with F4 to F6 and F8 and F9 cells. Note that you cannot apply more than one style to a cell. However, you can override one or more style properties in the cell. These cells in range C4 to C7 are performing some calculation on input cells. So let's apply the calculation style to these cells. Let me click on Cell Styles drop-down and then pick Calculation from the Data and Model category. Now, I'm going to apply the total style to these 2 cells as these are totals. I will select the cells. In the Cell Style drop-down, under Titles and Headings category, you can find the total style. Let's click on it. The overhead calculation cell is linked to these styles and the overhead rate. Let me apply linked cell style to it. I will select B7 and then choose linked cell style from here. Here, the VAT amount is also a calculation. You can use the Format Painter to copy a style from one cell to another. Let me select one of the cells with calculation style, select Format Painter, and click on cell B10. You can see that the look and feel of this cell is the same as the calculation style. But has Excel really copied the style? To confirm this, select B10 and click on Cell Styles drop-down. You can see that the calculation style is highlighted with a rectangle, which confirms that the style has been copied. Total cost seems to be an output of these calculations. Let's apply output style to it. Select B11 and then select the output style from the cell style. Let's apply heading 2 to quotation. We need to highlight these quotation values. We will apply bad, good, neutral style. Let me apply bad style to break even, neutral to low profit margin, and good style to recommend. You can see that these cells at the end of the quotation have text. Some styles from the data and motto category can be applied to these cells. This text looks like a warning message. Let me select it and apply the warning text style to it. Let me apply the note style to this one. I will change the style of this cell to explanatory text. Lastly, let me choose the hyperlink style for this cell. These row titles are unstyled. Let us apply themed cell style to these. I will select light orange 20% accent 2 style. You can see that the quotation looks better now. Let's say you are not happy with the fill color of the input cell and you would like to change the cell to yellow. Then right-click on Input Style, click on Modify, and then click Format. Click on Fill tabs and select yellow. You can see that all the fill color of all input style now changes to yellow. Excel allows you to delete a style. Let me show you how to delete the heading 3 style. I'm going to right-click on heading 3 and then select Delete. Note that all the cells which had heading 3 style have changed to the normal style. Now, let me try to delete the normal style. You can see that the delete icon is grayed out. Since the normal style is the default style, it cannot be deleted. Number format style can format cells with numbers. Comma and comma 0 styles apply comma separator to a number. The difference is that the comma style has 2 decimal places, whereas comma 0 has 0 decimal places. Similar logic applies to currency style. Currency format has 2 decimal places, whereas currency 0 has 0 decimal places. The percent style has no decimal place. In this video, I'm going to illustrate how to format cells using conditions on the cell values. For that, let me consider this customer order dataset. First, let me begin with equal to condition. For this, I'm going to select the range D2 to D22. In the Home tab, I will click on Conditional Formatting, then select Highlight Cell Rules, and then choose Equal to, and then enter 167 here. Let the default format remain selected, and now I will click OK. You can see that the formatting rule has highlighted all the cells whose value is 167 with a light red fill and dark red text. Now, let me show you how to add greater than condition. For this, I will select range D2 to D22. Now, I will click on Conditional Formatting, then select Highlight Cell Rules, and then select greater than 180. Now, I'm going to click on this list box to select the cell style. Let me select one of the predefined styles. I will choose green filled with dark green text and click OK. Observe that the rule has highlighted all the cells with a value more than 167. Now, let me continue with less than condition. Let me select the range D2 to D22. I will click on Conditional Formatting, select Highlight Cell Rules, and then select less than 165. Next, I'm going to click on this list box to select the cell style. This time, I will create a custom format to fill the cells with red color. I will select Fill tab and then select red color and press OK. I will click OK once more. Observe that the rule has filled cells that match the condition. Next, let me show you how to add between conditions. I want to highlight all cells where the order amount is between 350 and 450. I will select range F2 to F22. Next, I'm going to click on Conditional Formatting, then select Highlight Cell Rules. Let me choose between and then enter 350 here and 450 here. I'm going to select Yellow Fill with dark yellow text and then click OK. Observe that Excel has highlighted cells appropriately. Now, let me explain how to remove the conditional formatting rules. Let's say we want to remove the rule from cells F2 to F4. Select the cell range F2 to F4, click on Conditional Formatting, click on Clear Rules, and next I will click on Clear Rules from the selected cells. You can see that the cell highlight is removed. If you want to remove all the rules on the sheet, then click on Conditional Formatting. Then click on Clear Rules and then choose Clear Rules from the entire sheet. Next, I will illustrate how to apply conditional formatting to text data. In this data set, you can see that product description column values are text. I'm going to select range C2 to C22. Then in conditional formatting, I will choose highlight cell rules. Then let me select on text that contains. I will enter pens in the text box here and then click OK. You can see all the products containing the text pens are highlighted in red. I will select the range C2 to C22 again. Then in conditional formatting, let me choose highlight cell rules again, and then select text that contains. I will enter dot matrix here, and then select green fill with dark green text, and then click OK. Observe that all the products containing dot matrix have been highlighted in green. In this video, I will illustrate how to apply conditional formatting to cells with the date values. Conditional formatting can highlight data like order dates, shipping dates, delivery dates, etc. for further analysis. Let me consider this data set, which has order date and ship date. I will apply conditional formatting to the order date column. I would like to highlight the orders received today. I'm going to select the data in the range A2 to A22. That is the order date column, and then click on Conditional Formatting. Now, I will select Highlight Cell Rules and then select a date occurring. Finally, select Today in the drop-down and click OK. You can see that the formatting rule has highlighted today's orders. Let's highlight yesterday's orders. I'm going to select the Data and Order Date column and apply conditional formatting. Now, I will select Highlight Cell Rules and then select a date occurring. Let me now select Yesterday in the drop-down and then finally select Green Fill with dark green text and click OK. You can see that the formatting rule has highlighted yesterday's orders. I'm going to select the data in the order date column and then click on Clear Rules from the selected cells. This will remove the rule so that I can go ahead with the demonstration to highlight orders received in the last 7 days. I will now select a Date Occurring Again option, and then select in the last 7 days in the drop-down and finally click OK. You can see that the formatting rule has highlighted all orders in the last 7 days. A point to keep in mind is that the last 7 days rule is not the same as last week rule. However, there may be some days overlapping in these two rules. Similarly, you can apply last month rules in the order date data to highlight last month's orders. Let me first clear the rules. I will select a date occurring option, then choose last month in the drop-down and finally click OK. Since we are in July, the rule has highlighted all orders in June. Next, I will apply conditional formatting to the data in the ship date column. I want to highlight the orders which are going to be shipped tomorrow. I'm going to select the data in the range G2 to G22, that is ship date column, and then select a date occurring, and then choose Tomorrow in the drop-down. You can see that the formatting rule has highlighted orders with tomorrow's shipping date. Let's now try to highlight orders that are being shipped this week. Let me first clear the rules. Let me select the data in the range G2 to G22 and then select a date occurring rule. I will choose this week, the drop-down, and then click OK. Since date rules are relative, the cells to be highlighted will depend on which day of the week is today. Similarly, you can apply rules to the highlight orders which are to be shipped next week or next month. Let me introduce you to the duplicate values rule. This rule can only be applied to numbers and dates and does not apply to text. Though the rule's name is duplicate values, you can use it to highlight both duplicate and unique values. Let's say I'm interested in knowing which items have the same selling price. I will select the data in the range E2 to E22 and then select duplicate value rules in the conditional formatting. You can see that 3 and 2 are duplicate values. The rest are all unique values. You can also highlight unique values. Let's say we are interested in knowing if there is any customer who has ordered only once. I will select data in the range B2 to B22, that is the customer name, and then apply a duplicate value rule. In the drop-down, I will choose the unique value option. You can see that Lotus Trust has only ordered once. I will now explain the top-bottom rules. Like the duplicate value rules, this rule is only applicable to numbers and dates and does not apply to text. There are 6 predefined rules in this category, and they are top 10 and bottom 10 items, above average and below average, and lastly, top 10% and the bottom 10%. Let me explain the top 10 item rule. I will first select the data on the profit column and then click on top bottom rules and select the top 10 items. Top 10 items are a misnomer in that there is no restriction to select only the top 10 items. You can select any number. As an example, you can select the top 5 or top 3 items. Let me enter 5 here and change the color to green fill with green dark text. And finally click OK. So the rule will highlight the top 5 most profitable orders. Now I will apply the bottom 5 rule to the same data. Let me select the profit data. Then I will choose top bottom rules and select bottom 10 items. I'm going to enter 5 in this box and finally click OK. You can see the rule has highlighted the bottom 5 profitable orders in red. Conditional formatting may score over filter here. Unlike filter, you can view both top 5 and bottom 5 items simultaneously. Other top bottom rules are applied in the same manner. In this video, I will show you how to apply conditional formatting rules to create data bars. Data bars display horizontal bars in the cell. Like a bar chart, you can use data bars to show timeline or progress or duration. Also, data bars can show comparisons of prices or populations or incomes. We have a customer order dataset with days to ship and remaining inventory quantity columns. Let me show you how to create a data bar. I will select the cell range D2 to D22 and then click on Conditional Formatting and then choose Data Bars. Here you will see that there are 12 inbuilt data bar rules. 6 are under Gradient Fill and 6 are under Solid Fill. Let me select this blue data bar from the Solid Fill category. You can see that the rule has filled bars in these cells. The bar length depends on the value of the cell relative to the other cell values. The higher the value, the longer will be the bar, and vice versa. We have created a standard data bar. Excel provides several options, and it's worth spending some time to see these. I will click Select the Cell Range again and click on Conditional Formatting, and then click on Manage Rule. Now in the dialog box, select the rule and click on Edit Rule. We can hide numbers from the cell and only show the data bar by checking the Show Bar Only checkbox. Let me show you. And now I will click OK and then again click OK. Hiding numbers is useful when amounts are not significant. Sometimes it is important to see data bars from right to left rather than left to right. As an example, let's create data bars in the remaining inventory quantity column. I will select the cell range E2 to E22 and then click on Conditional Formatting and then choose Data Bars. I will then select the blue data bar under the Gradient Fill category. You can see that the direction of the bar is from left to right, and it doesn't give a sense of remaining values. I will edit the rule to show data bars from right to left. See how to do it. Here in the bar direction dropdown, I will choose the right to left option. You can see that the bars are now meaningful. Let me show you how to adjust the scale. Suppose the inventory level of 200 units is critical, and the bar should vanish when the value of 200 is reached. And the value of 300 or more means that the stock is full and the bar should cover the entire cell range. I will select the data, click on Conditional Formatting, select Manage Rule, and then double-click on the rule to edit. I will change the minimum type of number and enter 200 as a value. I will also change the maximum type of number and enter 300 in the value box. I'm going to click OK and then click OK again. You can see these two cells have different values, but they have the same bar length because the value is more than 300. So the bar length does not necessarily depend on the value. Scaling can distort the relationship of length and value. You can also see that the rule doesn't display the bar in any cell where the value is less than or equal to 200. Till now, we have seen data with only positive values, but we can also have negative values in the data set. Let's see this data, which displays the customer name and the profit earned from them in 2019. You can see that there are 2 customers from whom the firm suffered a loss. Let's create data bar. I will select the range H3 to H11. Then I will click on Conditional Formatting. After that, select Data Bar, and then I will choose the green data bar. You can see that Excel has automatically filled the negative values with a red color. You can apply settings on the negative value. Let me edit the rule. Click on Negative Value and Axis. You can change the fill color, border color, and axis. Here, let me select cell midpoint as axis position and click OK. You can see now that the entire cell is divided into 2 equal parts with negative and positive bars. In this video, I will illustrate color scale conditional formatting rules. The color scale rule applies a color gradient to the range of cells. The color indicates where each value falls relative to other cells in the selected range. In this data set, we have monthly revenue from 3 customers. I will select the range B3 to D14 and then choose color scales in the conditional formatting. You can see here that there are 12 inbuilt scales. Green, yellow, red scales will highlight green color to the highest value, yellow to the midpoint, and red to the lowest. We should use this color scale where a higher value is considered better than a lower value. Red, yellow, green scales will highlight red color to the highest value, yellow to the midpoint, and green to the lowest. We should use this color scale where a lower value is better than a higher value. Since this revenue data, I will select green, yellow, red scales. You can see that revenue from Blue Water Cap is lowest, whereas Lotus Trust is a large customer. The data scale is useful in comparing revenues across customers, but doesn't give a comparison across the months. We have replicated the sales data here on the right. Let me apply conditional formatting to each of the customers separately. I'm going to select H3 to H14 and apply the green, yellow, red color scale. I want to use the same conditional formatting to Lotus Trust and Blue Water Cap. I have 2 options. The first option is to repeat the process and apply it one by one to each of the cell ranges. The second option is to use Format Painter and copy the formatting from one cell range to the other cell range. Let me select H3. Then double-click on Format Painter and then apply it to I3 to I14 and then to J3 to J14. You have to apply them individually to each of the customer data. Don't apply the Format Painter to both data sets. It will not be correct. Let me do it for each customer individually. You can see color scales on both the columns. We can analyze data and see that June and October are the best months across the clients, whereas August seems to be the worst month. In this video, I will demonstrate formatting data using icon sets. Excel provides 4 categories of icon sets. They are directional, shapes, indicators, and ratings. Primarily there are 3 icons, 4 icons, or 5 icon sets. In directional category, up, down, flat, sloping upwards, and sloping downwards arrows are available. Traffic lights, circles, and other shapes are available under the Shapes category. Flags, correct, incorrect, warning icons are available in Indicators. In the Ratings category, you can select from Star Rating, Signal, Quarters, and Boxes. Let me start with selecting the C2 to C22 range. I will then click on Conditional Formatting. I will now choose Icon Sets. In the Directional category, I will select 3 arrow icon sets. You can see Excel has automatically applied icons to the data. Let us understand the logic of deciding icons for the cells. Let me edit the rule. By default, the rule is applied based on percent. You have the option to select other types, also like percentile, number, and formula. However, in this video, we will focus only on percent. In the case of 3 icon set rule, Excel divides the data into 3 parts by computing 33rd and 67th percent of data. You can see that the green up arrow is applied when the value is greater than or equal to 67% of the data, whereas yellow flat arrow is applied when the value is less than 67% but greater than or equal to 33%. Lastly, red down arrow is applied when the value is less than 33%. Let me cancel this and then close this. To fully understand the percent computation and data partition, let me consider a dataset with only 6 values. Here, 100 is the maximum value and 30 is the minimum value. Now let's compute 33rd percent and 67th percent of the dataset. The formula for 33rd percent is minimum value plus 33% of the difference between the maximum and minimum value. So, in this dataset, the 33rd percent value is 53.1. The formula for 67th percent is minimum value plus 67% of the difference between the maximum and minimum value. So in this dataset, the 67th percent value is 76.9. A number in this dataset will be highlighted as up arrow if its value is more than 76.9, and the cell will be highlighted as a down arrow if its value is less than 53.1. If the value is in between 53.1 and 76.9, then it will be highlighted as a flat arrow. Let me create the 3-arrow icon rule for this dataset. The rule highlights 77 and 100 in green up arrows as they are more than 76.9. Here, the rule highlights 52 and 30 in red down arrow as they are less than 53.1. The rule highlights 75 and 55 in the flat yellow arrow icon as they are between 53.1 and 76.9. Let me change the minimum value to 40. You can see that the 33rd percent value is now 59.8, which means that the rule will mark a number below 59.8 in red down arrow. You can see that the icon has changed for this cell. Likewise, 67th percent is now 80.2. So the rule highlights all values more than 80.2 in green. Thus, the arrow changes for this cell from up arrow to flat arrow. Let's change the number of icons to see if there are any changes in the rule. In the 4 icon sets, Excel divides the data into 4 parts by computing 75th, 50th, and 25th% of data. Whereas in the 5 icon sets, Excel divides the data into 5 parts by computing 80th, 60th, 40th, and 20th percent values. These mathematical rules are the same for all icon categories. Only the display property changes. The choice of icon sets depends on the analysis and audience. You should avoid shapes icon sets as the only differentiation among them is color and can be challenging for colorblind viewers. Other icon sets have additional indicators apart from the color, and colorblind audiences can understand them.